Hello world. Hello you beautiful people. It's me again, another beautiful day. Yeah. Still a Star Wars and Star Trek lane. What's today? What? Tuesday? Here we go again. I saw the E3 presentation. Xbox, man, they got a lot. They did their homework and they got a lot going for them. A lot of games coming out this holiday season, this fall, this summer, the rest of the summer, the fall. You know, a lot of games, and I was impressed with Battlefield. Battlefield got some grounds to make up. You know, because Battlefield used to, like, you know, EA, when they dropped Battlefield, they were trying to keep up with Call of Duty, but they haven't dropped a Battlefield in about what 3 years. You know, because Activision, they dropped Modern Warfare, the new one, and then they dropped Warzone, and then they dropped Black Ops Cold War. So Battlefield got some grounds to make up, you know, for all that time. And you know how the saying go, you can't make up for lost time. So they really got some huge hole. They got a hole to fill, you know. So left behind by Call of Duty. But the video was pretty good. Halo Infinite looked real good, you know. And the good thing about the games that are coming on Xbox, you get that smart delivery upgrade. So you can play those games on Xbox One if you don't have the Xbox Series S and X. You know, but Halo Infinite looks real good. So yeah, them Halo fanboys is ready for war, so to speak. Forza Horizon 5, man. Woo! Yeah, another chapter to that racing game franchise. And this time it's in Mexico, so they you know, Playground Studios did their homework. You know, Bethesda showed off Starfield, and Starfield looked really good, you know. And you know, that's an Xbox exclusive, so you know, Xbox got a lot to look forward to, you know. So Starfield is gonna be good. But Xbox One right now, they're getting their games, man. They're getting their games, and based on that presentation that they showed off a lot, you know, and there's more to come, you know. So if you got an Xbox One, if you can't get the Xbox Series X and S, you still can play the games on Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, you know. And then when the time comes, then you can get the Series S and X. But if you can't get the Series S and X right now, go with the Xbox One. You know, Xbox One, Xbox One, Xbox One X. No, Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X. But other than that, man, Microsoft, they did a real good presentation. You know, did a lot. You know, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, and the game industry doesn't look like. I mean, the pandemic ain't gonna be over anytime soon. Plus, it's affecting a lot of things, so game industry has to adjust. And you know, they got to do things accordingly. So you know, the game industry is doing everything they can to, like, keep the fans entertained, you know. And based on what Microsoft showed, they did really good on that presentation, really good. And I was like, wow, well done, you know. I knew Elder Scrolls 6 wasn't going to be shown, because, you know, Elder Scrolls 6 is like an idea and concept stage right now. Probably artwork stage, but as far as a playable demo and all that, probably about another 2 years. So Elder Scrolls 6 is, you know, they you know, won't be shown for about another year or two, you know, because it's gonna be bigger than Skyrim, no doubt. But right now, we still got Elder Scrolls Online, and we still got Skyrim to deal with. But for Elder Scrolls 6, until probably another year or two. They didn't show Gotham Knights, because Gotham Knights is coming out what, I think next year. So gotta wait for WB Games on that. But other than that, man, the game, they showed off a lot. You know, Microsoft showed off a lot, and they got so many things going on behind the scene, especially with this Xbox TV coming. You know, so they're just making moves. But they got, you know, one thing about Microsoft, they got their fan base. They got their base covered, man. You know, they took care of business. They did the groundwork, and it's showing. You know, and then you got the Game Pass to deal with too. You know, and the thing with Game Pass is this: you gotta it's best to get the yearly subscription. You know, because if you just buy like 1 month, which is like $14.99, that's plus tax, and then you buy another month, that's $14.99 plus tax. So all those tax. So if you do that for an entire year. If you do that for an entire year, all those taxes add up. So it's best to just get the yearly subscription and just get it over with, you know. And that way you can save you a little change, you know, and be ready for the next year. So other than that, man, the Xbox Game Pass is good. So and games with gold, you know, I mean, Xbox Live, I mean, games with gold is good because there's plenty of games that they give away for that you get for free for 4 months that. You know, you probably never played it, so it's good to always download those and play them. But other than that, man, Xbox, they're doing good, man. You know, they got the infrastructure, and they're just building on top of what they already have. You know, and they showed, to me, they showed Sony and Nintendo that it's not always about sale. It's about your infrastructure, man, and what you got to offer. And what they got to offer right now, what Microsoft got to offer with this Xbox, there's a lot, you know. And you get perks and you get deals, and yeah, they're good, man. So, and then you know, your system is always getting updated, and they're just moving right along. And then there's a Windows 11 that's coming, and they're just making moves, you know, just making moves behind the scene. You know, it's all about that infrastructure, man. It ain't about sales. You know, they're gonna get their sales. They're gonna get their sales, but they don't talk about it. They never talk about it. It's like they got other things to worry about. They ain't even worried about no sales numbers, man. You know, it's when you hear like certain internet bloggers bring that stuff up. That's when you hear about it. But Microsoft themselves, they don't bring up sales numbers and throw it around in people's face. No, they work on their infrastructure, you know, and you see it, and there's a lot of benefits that come with it, you know. So yeah, Xbox is good, man, and you know, it's best if you got a Xbox One S or X, get you some extra hard drives, you know. Get you like one of them USB, one of those USB hubs, those ports, like five port hubs or ports, and then stick it on the back of the Xbox, and then get you some extra hard drives, because those games, they do take up space, and then with those games come the updates. So yeah, Xbox is good, man. So they just work on their infrastructure, man, and you see the benefits, you know. You know, they don't. It's like when a problem come up, they don't abandon the problem and leave it high and dry. They face it. They're like, okay, we got to go fix this, and that's what they do. They fix their stuff, man. And you just see what they do. You just see the benefits of it, you know. And they are moving right along, man. They're just doing their thing, you know. And a lot of games coming, you know. And like, man, look, you know that game. I mean, you know, everybody. It's like every studio that they got right now. That they got, you know, those studios are busy working on some type of project. You know, they're busy working on some type of project. You know, I mean, of course, it creates a little competition, but what that does is raise the bars with the studios that they have. You know. Because every studio that they got, it push it. Every one of those studios pushes. They push each other. Push each other to do better. And that's what you're seeing with these studios that Microsoft is that studio acquisitions that they're acquiring. It creates competition, not competition like in sales numbers and all that. Competition with game development wise to make the Xbox ecosystem better. That's what's going on with these studios that they got. You know, they every one of them. Obsidian, I mean Bethesda is pushing Obsidian to do better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all the studios know that Elder Scrolls 6 is in the works, and they know that, and they know when that game comes out, it's gonna raise the bar. So each one of those studios, they're pushing each other to get creative in game development, from Rare Playground Studio all the way down. It's like one big family, but there's competition within the family, not to outdo each other, but to improve, to feed off each other and push each other game development wise to get games better. And that's what's happening with Microsoft, man. You might not hear anything from them, but they're busy right now working on games. And that's what's going on within the ecosystem of Microsoft, man. So they're doing their thing, man. And when they dropped that video I think when Playground Studios dropped the video, when I saw the gameplay trailer for Forza Horizon 5, I said, wow. I was blown away. I was like, wow, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? So it'll show you that how far it shows you how far Playground Studios have come, you know, since Forza Horizon the first Forza Horizon on Xbox. And the next one is gonna be something, man. So, you know, every Forza Horizon is like a step above the last one. So, you know, they try to get as creative as they can. But other than that, man, those studios that Microsoft have under that umbrella, they all push each other to do better, you know, to make games more better. That's what they're doing. It's not a sales thing about who can outsell who and all that. No, it's about pushing each other to make games better, and that's what they're doing with those studios that they acquire. So, but other than that, Microsoft, they're just doing their thing, you know. And then they have the Windows 11 coming out, and then they gotta apply that to DirectX, and then the ray tracing, teraflops, all the other stuff. So yeah, Microsoft, they're just making moves, man. And like I said, they're teaching Nintendo and Sony that it's not always about sales. Phil Spencer said it best: sales ain't the end all be all for video games. So, you know, that should have been a message, you know. And they showed it, that it's not always about sales. Look at the infrastructure that they built. And they're showing Sony and Nintendo that it's not always about sales, man. Work on your infrastructure. Work on the infrastructure that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, Nintendo had an infrastructure with the Wii U, and they should have kept using the Wii U and work on that infrastructure. Sony had an infrastructure with the PlayStation 3. They should have kept it and keep working on it. Don't abandon it. You know, that's all Microsoft did, was just capitalize off their mistakes. You know, took what they take for granted and used it against them, and showed them like, look, man, it ain't always about sales, man. You got to work on your infrastructure. Got to work on your infrastructure. Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, because when the pandemic hit, the pandemic was about who had the infrastructure to deal with the problems at hand, man. The problem that the pandemic presents. You know, it was all about infrastructure. So that's what Microsoft was teaching Sony and Nintendo. Like, you guys need to work on your infrastructure, man. It ain't always about sales. No, work on your infrastructure. So Nintendo, you know, they hadn't, like I said, they had an infrastructure with the Wii U. All the features on the Wii U, you can't get you can't get rid of it. You really need it for the rest of your gaming life. When you really look at it, you can't get rid of none of the features on the Wii U. You know, and then once they built the Switch, once the Switch is docked, you lost about 50% of your features that you got. because you need that tablet, you need that console to tablet function to do a lot of things, you know. And there were benefits that comes with it, that comes with this, with the Wii U, plenty of benefits. So they should have kept using it. I don't know, and they should have kept using it and not going against it. You know, Sony on the other hand, they had a backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 3, and they should have kept using that. They should have brought that over into the PlayStation 4 and then bring it over into the PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying? So Sony and Nintendo should have kept doing what they were doing, but they got greedy. You know, they got greedy and selfish, and now they're paying for it. You know, so when it comes to this this game industry, when it comes to this game industry, it's about infrastructure, man. You know, because backwards compatibility right now is important right now. You know, it's really important. And you know, Sony and Nintendo should have kept, you know, Nintendo with the Wii U had a backwards compatibility infrastructure within the Wii U. They had they had so many features. PlayStation on the other hand, with the PlayStation 3, they had a lot of things going, and they should have transported it over to the PlayStation 4 and then transferred it over again to the PS5. So Sony and Nintendo kind of like, you know, take things for granted, and you see what happened here. So Microsoft has capitalized off what they took for granted. You know what I mean? Look at Game Pass, a Netflix-like service in video games. That is huge. So that thing is creating havoc. You know. So yeah, it's about infrastructure right now. It's about infrastructure. You know, it's not about who sells the most anymore. You know, like when you first come in the console business, you know, sales is important because you're trying to build a base. But after you generate them sales numbers, you got to improve. You got to build an infrastructure. Your very first year within the console race, you have to build an infrastructure after your first console. You have to build a foundation after your first console. You know, and once that foundation is built, now you got to. Now you got to build then the infrastructure is in place. So now you got to work on it, and that's what Sony and Nintendo should have been doing. You know, working on that infrastructure that they built. You know, so Sony should have done it with the place from the time they came in with PlayStation 1. They should have had that infrastructure in place. You know, it's the same thing with Nintendo. So they took things for granted. So Microsoft came in and was like, okay, watching what they were doing, they said, okay, and they start making moves. Boom, 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 boom. And look at them now. You know, capitalize off every mistake that they took for granted and made. So that's why Microsoft is doing so good right now. You know, and Microsoft had to do what they have to do so they can be a force within this game industry. So yeah, that's what they had to do. You know, they had to become a force in this game industry, and they needed to have some impact, a huge impact on the game industry, and they did it. You know, see, Sony and Nintendo was all cavalier and nonchalant. You know, they didn't fix the infrastructure that they had with the base that they built. You know, they should have been improving that infrastructure, keep on building on it, and stop running away from it. And now they're like scattered all over the place right now. You know, they're scattered all over the place right now. You know, while Microsoft is like working on theirs, they're still trying to build an infrastructure, so to speak. But like I said before, Nintendo had it with the Wii U, and Sony had it with the PS3. They should have kept building on what they got. You know, because nobody really saw the pandemic coming. Nobody really saw it coming. Nobody. So that infrastructure for Sony and Nintendo should have been in place. So when the pandemic hits, they would have been better prepared to deal with it. So yeah, it's about infrastructure right now. It ain't about who sells the most, man. It's about infrastructure. And what Microsoft is doing right now, they should be commended for what they're doing. They should be commended for what they're doing, you know. And their Xbox fans is loving it. Their Xbox fans is loving it, you know. You know, they're doing what they brought to the table for video games is huge. You know, what Microsoft brought to the table for video games, they're huge, man, and it's having an impact. You know what I'm saying? So Nintendo with the Wii U, they had a lot of features. You know, they had. I'm gonna say that for another video, but they had a lot of stuff going, man, and they should have kept on using it. Sony with the backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 3, they should have kept using it, improving it. I mean, who would have thought you could take a game that's like from your older generation and then run it at 60 to 120 frames a second? Huh? Man, when Microsoft did that, everybody's antennas was up like this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Microsoft did a lot, man. They did a lot, so they got to be commended for what they're doing. That E3 presentation that they did was fantastic. Well done for them, you know. Keep it going. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video so y'all can enjoy it. And nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Bored, dark side. I'm gone. Peace.